Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to Harrah's Hoosier Park. Michael Chamberlain and Jacob Reinheimer here in the Dan Patch studio as we roll on with the Road to the Derby. The Road to the Derby Challenge with two races this week. We did do a video for the Louisiana Derby, and we're also going to tackle the Grade 3 Jeff Ruby Stakes at Turfway Park in Kentucky. Field of, right now we have a field of 11 as Agate Road double entered into both races and ended up scratching out of this race to run at the Louisiana Derby. But there are two also eligibles in this field, so it's a potential that one of those also eligibles could get into this race and bulk it back out to a field of 12.
Yeah, $700,000 purse here for Grade 3 Jeff Ruby Stakes, as I mentioned, going a mile and an eighth. And this is a race that's thrown some interesting contenders in the past, including two Phils, who won this race last year, nearly won the Derby last year over Mage, with that huge trip in the Kentucky Derby. Just get tracked down late by the likes of Mage. Also, Animal Kingdom's a winner of this race. Hard Spun as well in the past. So some really good horses have come out of the Jeff Ruby Stakes.
Hard Spun's one of my favorites. I love to see his progeny when they come up too, because he was a hard trying horse, and his progeny are hard trying horses too.
That's like the first Triple Crown I can really remember as a kid, and that crop is absolutely one of my favorites.
Yeah, great. Mine is Bold Forbes back in 1976. His first Triple Crown, he remembers. 2008. Wow. We have, as I said, we take a look at our selections for this race here. And Jacob, you did end up on the 10 endlessly for trainer Mike McCarthy. Umberto Rispoli is going to be riding, and Rispoli was in the saddle for the win at Golden Gate last out.
Yeah, and this race is always interesting because they race on the all-weather track, the synthetic surface. Endlessly does have a win over Tapta over at Golden Gate Fields, in the El Camino Real Derby. Won that by a little over a length, so he's familiar with the surface here. I think you get a 5-2 price on Endlessly. He's the one to beat. He finished 8th, beating just 3 lengths in the Breeders' Crown Juvenile Turf last year at age 2, so he's got some ability. I think making the transition to the surface should be no problem at all. 5-2 on the morning line. I do think Endlessly is the one to beat here.
I have that one second. I did try to end up beating that horse with the 3 Lucky Jeremy. This horse is a William Morey trainee. Gerardo Corrales is going to ride, and Corrales was aboard for the win at Churchill Downs in late October of last year. Since then, 2 2024 starts, both coming at Sunland Park. Scored a victory on January 19th in a $100,000 stake there, and that was the prep for the Grade 3 Sunland Derby, and this horse then finished 3rd in the Sunland Derby on February 18th. So kind of take the Mind That Bird route to the Derby going through Mexico. But I do think this horse does stand a good chance, sired by Looking at Lucky out of a War Chant mare. And since we're talking about the all-weather, a lot of people think that the all-weather races tend to track toward turf horses or horses with turf breeding, and I did like the presence of War Chant in the lineage.
Yeah, you get 10-1 on Lucky Jeremy, 10-1 on my second selection as well on number 4, Noted. A horse that's won on both the turf as well as the dirt, and that's what I really like here. Get trainer Todd Pletcher at 10-1. I know I went with him at 8-1 in the Louisiana Derby. I put Agate Road on top in the Louisiana Derby, so I'm thinking Todd Pletcher is going to have a big weekend here, but I like the price at 10-1 on the morning line. Another horse that raced in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile last year at age 2 was just a little bit outclassed by the likes of his stablemate Fierceness. Finished 9th. Came back well, though. Raced 2 back, got a win at Gulfstream Park on the turf, as I mentioned, then finished 7th in the Kitten's Joy last time out. Comes here to the all-weather surface. I think this is going to be a pretty easy transition for him. I think Noted's worth a look at 10-1.
I'm going to take a little bit of a shot also here with the 7-horse Woodcourt. Now, Woodcourt finished 4th in the Rebel, was beaten only 6 lengths by Timberlake at odds of 44-1. Now, Timberlake, visually at least, has had the most impressive prep race of any of these races we've seen so far. He was a very authoritative winner in that race. This horse was only 6 lengths behind that victory at Oaklawn Park. Elects to come here to Turfway Park rather than wait for the rest of that Oklahoma or Arkansas series, rather. So I do like the 7 Woodcourt. 10 starts already in this horse's career. 4 of them are victories, and that's the most experienced horse in the race.
Yeah, I think that's something you have to take a look at some of these races. I put Lucky Jeremy, your second selection, third on my ticket. I round out mine with number 9, Seize the Gray, 8-1 here for trainer D. Wayne Lucas. Horse coming off a win at Oaklawn Park at a mile and a 16th against Condition Company, won by over a length. And a horse that likes to stalk just off the pace. I think he's got the perfect style suited for a race like this on the all-weather surface. A son of Arrogate, I think there's a lot to like there. I've been impressed by the Arrogate progeny you're not going to see a lot of,
True,
unfortunately.
yes.
With that said, Arrogate was such a special horse himself, so hopefully he passes a little bit of that to the likes of Seize the Gray. Looking for kind of a breakthrough mile here for Seize the Gray. I have to put him fourth on my ticket at 8-1.
My fourth pick, and I did went the experience route on my third pick. My fourth pick is not a very experienced horse. Only 3 starts for the 8 Otello by trained by Christophe Clement, who is a turf specialist, and Javier Castellano is going to ride. He won the Derby last year with Mage, so certainly a very good set of human connections here. By Curlin out of an Escandarea mare, so very good breeding here as well. Did win at Aqueduct in November to break the maiden, backed it up in the Mucho Macho Man at Gulfstream on New Year's Day, and then was 6th in the Holy Bull, finishing behind Hades and Domestic Product, but got bumped at the start there, so really didn't get to see what this horse is made of in that last race. I think coming back here is a good spot. I like the 8 Otello in 4th.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the key to this race. There's so many different angles. Horses coming from the turf, coming from the dirt to race on this all-weather surface. It's what makes this always such an interesting, competitive race. Maybe the hardest to figure along the road to the Derby races. So a lot of different ways you can go if you're going to try to beat the 5-2 morning line favorite in Endlessly.
And with the scratch of Agate Road that we are expecting here, I will say I do like one of the 2 also eligibles to possibly trundle up there if the horse gets in the race. That's the 14 Triple Espresso by Omaha Beach out of an Indian Charlie mare from the barn of Todd Pletcher. Jose Ortiz scheduled to ride. It'll be the 3rd start off the layoff. Broke the maiden 2 back on January 20th on the turf at Gulfstream, and then finished 4th in the Colonel Liam at Gulfstream on the turf as well, March 2nd. We'll be interested to see if that horse gets into the race, how that one does perform, but I did think that one did merit a look.
Yeah, another one that, if I'm not mistaken, Pletcher cross-entered. I think he entered for the Louisiana Derby in that spot as well. Was going to point Triple Espresso to the Jeff Ruby Stakes with Agate Road going to the Louisiana Derby. So always a tactic you have to pay attention to when Todd Pletcher's making these decisions.
And he's just making our life difficult with doing these videos because he's got to make up your mind, Todd. Come on. We've got Jacob with 10-4-3-9. I have it 3-10-7-8 in the Jeff Ruby Stakes at Turfway Park. Looking forward to hearing the call of my good friend Tony Kalo with that race as well. The announcer down there at Turfway Park. Should be a great Saturday down in Kentucky. That is our look at the Jeff Ruby Stakes. Like this video and subscribe to our Hoosier Park Racing channel. For Jacob Reinheimer, you have something else to say?
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're going to be here for Road to the Derby on Saturday and you're going to have a great day at Turfway Park, well, you might as well have a great weekend at Hoosier Park, too. Because, by the way, we start racing on Friday night here at Harris Hoosier Park Racing and Casino. We'll have racing action Saturday after the Road to the Derby races. We got a 13-race card Saturday night. Great giveaways and promotions to jump into there as well. So if you're coming out for Road to the Derby on Saturday, be sure to stick around because we've got 13 really great races to go Saturday night.
Guy gets promoted to racing marketing director, and he takes it to heart right off the bat. For Jacob Reinheimer, I'm Michael Chamberlain, wishing the best of luck to you all.